Now, when to step back, when to trust, when to let the teacher do the thing you hired them to do. Because sometimes the parents become the obstacle, even with the best intentions, and recognizing that is its own skill. When a teacher does something you don't recognize, remember, skilled teachers vary their approach. They use methods you didn't grow up with. There's a name for this in education, and it's called universal design for learning. The idea that good teaching meets different learners in different ways, and a skilled teacher keeps more than one tool in their hand. So when you watch a lesson and the teacher does something unfamiliar, a game, a pause, a tangent, a method that isn't how you learned Qur'an as a child, don't assume it's a mistake. Maybe your son recites the same line 5 times because the teacher is building automaticity. Maybe the teacher lets your daughter struggle with a word for a moment instead of jumping in because the struggle is where the learning happens. Maybe they spend 10 minutes on something that looks like play, but it is a learning tool. What looks like inconsistency can be a skill. What looks like wasted time can be a method. So before you correct a teacher, ask yourself, is this actually a problem or is it just unfamiliar? And if you're not sure, ask them, not to challenge, but to understand. I noticed you did it this way. Can you help me understand the approach? A skilled teacher will be glad to explain, and you'll usually learn something as well. The second place this matters is when there's a disagreement. Back the teacher in front of the child. Children test. They'll come to you and say something like the teacher was wrong or unfair, or that the child already knew something and they recited it correctly, but the teacher said no. And your instinct, that protective instinct, is to take your child's side. Resist it, especially in the moment in front of the child. Back the teacher. If your child insists that they recited correctly when they didn't and you side with your child, you've just taught them that their teacher's correction doesn't count. You've undone the lesson and you've made the next correction harder for everyone. This matters even more with older learners, an adult learner, a teenager, a revert. They may actually argue a point with real confidence by, I'm saying it right, or I've read that this is allowed, or my old teacher said something different. Sometimes from genuine conviction, but the teacher is the one with the training. Backing them isn't blind obedience. It's preserving the trust that makes teaching possible. If you genuinely believe the teacher got something wrong, and sometimes they do, you raise it privately, after the lesson, away from the child, quietly, with manners, never in the moment, never in front of the one being taught. There is always room for respectful disagreement. There is never room for undermining the teacher in front of the student. So how do you disagree well? Simply message the teacher or talk after the session. I wanted to check something with you. My understanding was different. Can we talk through it? Give them the chance to explain. Often there's context you didn't have. Sometimes they made an error and they'll correct it. Either way, the disagreement stayed between adults. The child never saw the teacher's authority questioned. I remember the thing this whole series has been built on. These teachers are carrying real knowledge, often more than we have. So respect runs in both directions. The teacher owes your child patience, skill, and care, and you owe the teacher the trust that lets them actually teach. So step back, let the teacher teach, back them in front of your child, disagree privately with manners. The most helpful parent isn't the one watching every second ready to correct. It's the one who builds the conditions where a good teacher can do their best work. That closes topic 4. Coming next, the final topic of this series. Subscribe, share, and see you in the next video, inshallah. Barakallahu fikum.